it's like to have a name for every one of the hairs on your head. It's like I lose friends every day. It's so sad. Well, that's what they wanted me to talk about today. And I'm pretty tired about talking about the same old thing, like Michael's probably tired about talking about the old deep-covered anchor. But I'm going to change it up a little bit. So I wrote this on the airplane next to the motor on the engine there, and two screamy kids. I swear these people had no parenting skills at all. They had no food, no drink, nothing for these children, and they screamed the entire time. So we'll see how this goes. Anyway, when you think about the word recruiting, is it like a word that sends shivers down your spine? Do you want to throw up when you think about it? Do you cringe? It's kind of like when I think about the words diet, exercise, call my mother. So recruiting sometimes really is like a bad word, and it really was for me in my career for many years. For 3 years, for sure, it was not a good word. I did not know how to recruit. I didn't know what to say, and it did not work for me. And I just figured I was not a good recruiter. I could sell, but I could not recruit. So maybe you have the same problems, or maybe you have people on your team that maybe you know what to do, but you just can't somehow get it to work, or you just don't know what to do. And you see other people doing it, and you wonder, what are they doing to get all these people to sign up? You know, are they offering their firstborn child? Are they giving them Starbucks for a year, crack for a year? What are they doing? I thought the same things when I saw good recruiters when I first started. I had no idea what they were doing. I still think about that when I see thin people. I wonder, do they have the thin gene? They never had any kids. Do they throw up after every meal? What is their secret? Because I have tried Weight Watchers. I have done it 3 times. I have lost an incredible $450. So I'm pretty sure there's a secret there. But that's what would you agree that to be good at anything, there are some steps? And I think the first step is that you have to know why you want to do it. You also then have to become an expert at it. You have to research, you've got to talk to people, you've got to figure out what are they doing, and copy everything I'm doing right now. And you have to learn their tricks. But I think the bottom line is that you have to want to do it. You have to want it. If you don't want it, I can tell you all till I'm blue in the face how to recruit and how I do it. But if you don't want to do it, or if you don't know why you want to do it, I just don't think the training works. Because obviously, not everybody's recruiting 20 to 40 people a year. So there's a disconnect somewhere. So I want to get to the how, not just the why today. All right. So I want to put a laser beam focus on the why. Because when my why became clear, when I really figured this out, I went from recruiting a couple people to recruiting no less than 20 people for the last 10 years. I've never recruited any less than 20 for 10 solid years. So, can't lose this 40 pounds, but I can recruit. All right, so if the why is strong enough, the how is much clearer and easier. So I want to give you this analogy. It's football season. It's coming up, right? Or we're in the middle of it. On the count of 3, just shout out your favorite professional football team. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. That was clear as mud. But anyway, we're going to go with the Detroit Lions, which is my hometown. So I want you to think about your favorite football team. And I want you to think of what the parts are, who the people are that make that team successful. So first we got a good coach. Think about really good coaches and trainers. You know, not Guy Lombardi, that was like, who was that guy? A really good one. Vince Lombardi. Anybody can do this job. So you've got a good coach, you've got a good playbook, and the playbook is just the rules of the game, but every coach interprets them differently, right? You've got to get some good team spirit, and then would you agree that probably the most important part of the team is the players? If you don't have any players, there's going to be no need for a coach, there's no need for anybody else, right? Without them, everybody has no job. But I want to tell you about an even more important person on the team, and that is the recruiter, the team recruiter. Because that recruiter's job is to bring in talent to that team. and he has to do it constantly. He has to make the deals, he's got to scout for the best. But what if the recruiter brought in the best 53 players, because I had to ask a guy on the plane how many football players on our professional team. Is this right, 53? Do you all know that? And 11 of them are on the field at any given time. So let's say the recruiter said, okay, I got my 53 players, this team is solid. Well, what could happen to a professional team? What could happen to those players? They can get hurt, they can retire, they could move on, they could go to jail. I did have fire down here, that was good. Or they could move on to another team, they get a better deal, they could move on. So the scout has to constantly look for new talent and hire them. In college football, it's even worse because they have a 4-year or a 5-year lifespan, and then everything's got to be replaced. Think about Penn State. I mean, those poor babies, they're going to be working for a long time to rebuild their team. So, as directors, our goal is the same, to replace our players because they're not going to be around forever. And the goal in Pampered Chef is to promote directors out. Well, that's just the same as losing one of your players. Imagine if you have your team in place, and then your star quarterback retires and takes this whole line with him, which is what happens when a director promotes out of your line, am I right? I mean, you lose a big player, and you lose a big part of your sales. So we've got to constantly be preparing and thinking, if I'm not going to lose them through attrition, I could lose them to promotion, and I've got to find a way to replace, always be replacing. There's a natural cycle in this business. I'm going to be honest with you. If there's a natural cycle, I think people will stay around and figure out if they're going to make some money in it, and within a couple years, they're going to know. Sometimes it's like 2 days they decide, no, this isn't me. But we've got to be prepared. So, recruiters in sports are admired and sought out. So being a recruiter is not a bad thing. Now, let's just see what I want to chat about next. All right. I'm not going to talk about that. All right. The best way to become a better recruiter is to find out what you're not good at. Because in this business, we're all good at something. I mean, obviously, you're great at selling and booking and all of that. Others are really good at being a mentor. They're good at being the coach. But if there's nobody to coach, you might as well forget it. A lot of us are really great cheerleaders. I mean, we can cheer like, yay, you got a booking. But we kind of wait for something good to happen. So, sometimes you have to have a come-to-Jesus moment to figure out, you know what, I have to make this work. I have to become a good recruiter. I have to lose this 40 pounds, whatever you have, whatever. So, I want to chat with you a little bit about just some, we'll get to some of the hows, but I hope that you've thought about a little bit now why you have to recruit. You're the owner of this team. You're the coach. You're the cheerleader. You're the recruiter. You're the everything. And take that recruiter role and probably move it to the top of your list if your team needs that boost. But I just want to give you just a couple of things, some tips, and I've given these many times before, but we'll cover them again. One of them is, there was a lot of good recruiting talk here, so you probably don't need a whole lot of this, but really be willing to talk freely and honestly and often about our business, just like you would talk about the deep-covered baker. It's the best product you have. It's the best product I have is our business. Give enough info during your party to spark the interest of at least 2 people, and assume that at least 2 people at every party are going to want information and are probably going to want to sign. You have to assume it. If you think nobody, or you look around the room and there's only 2.5 people, there's like 2 women and a grandma that's 80, she's the half person, you know there's just nobody here. You have got to assume that 2 people and maybe grandma will want to sign. I want you to write down this phrase, because I've taken a Judy Joel phrase and it's just expanding it. My job's not through till I've booked 2 and I've talked to 2. My job's not through till I've booked 2 and I've talked to 2. If at every party, if we took that to heart and every one of our consultants took it to heart, that that's our job, we would never lag for bookings, we would never lag for recruit leads, our business would be so easy. Julie Gizzy would be out of business talking about balance, because we'd be like going so easily. The other thing I want you to do is assume that there are people at the party that will sign at the party. That's been my secret for years. I don't give them a whole lot of time. I like to dazzle them and give them to sign right now. I don't want them to think about it. I want people that are able to sign up right at the party. So I want you to offer it. See if they'll do it. Get out the contract and say, I can get your kid over tonight, John. What do you think about coming over tomorrow for coffee and we'll get some training done? Another trick would be to give a gift if they will take information. Just give them Season's Best Cookbook. 23 cents if you buy the off-season ones, right? Put the recruiting information in the Season's Best. I have a gift for you if you look at it. And then also consider giving them a gift if they do sign at the party. It doesn't have to be money off the kid, but you give away gifts for bookings. Use the same gift if they become a consultant that night. If you just change that one thing in your business, if you're willing to pay for a booking, what would you be willing to pay for a recruit? Year's worth of crack. Remember that. All right, so I just want to show you one thing that I've used for recruiting lately. This is my old board. It's kind of yucky, so I guess it came on the plane, but I'm going to move over here.
I'm moving with you.
I've got it too, Patty.
All right, so what I do at the end of my party is, this is my old one, I made a better one. But anyway, it's just words that talk about the reasons why people might want to become a consultant. And so what I do with this is I have them look at the board, and how many of you have been to a shower where you've had to look at a tray of stuff and then write down what you saw when they took it away? That's what you're doing here. So you're talking about each thing. So you're saying, girls, it's, and guys, I love, you might want to sell Pampered Chef because you get a chance to have some tall talk with other adults. You get to go on trips. And so you would expound on this, just like the question game. Just like the question game. But now you've got it all right out in front of you. These are all some of the reasons. Then I fold it up, and then I ask them to write down as many as they can remember. And they all are engaging and writing down all the things. Who's got 8 or more, who's got 10, whoever has the most, reads them back, reinforces it all again, and I say, now, if all those reasons, if there's even 1 or 2 that fit you, you've got nothing to lose by giving this business a try tonight. And then I'll go into giving them a prize or a ticket or whatever. But whatever method you use to inform them, the trick in this whole business is to close the deal. And if you've gotten good at closing bookings, then use that same strategy to closing a recruit right at the party. And if you would change that in your business, I think next year you could probably recruit 20 or 40 people. So I want to thank you for letting me come and hang out.